thanks to keeping our vision of ILA alive. Lots of work needs to be done, but somebody once told me always get involved in a project that you know will not be finished by the time your time on this planet finishes. So we're very glad, even if it takes 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50, we know we'll be around. Thank you, Bindu, for joining. Glad to have you. Welcome, all of you. So if I can ask every one of you to please introduce yourself. And let's start with Dr. Chandar.
Thank you, Navneet. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Muktesh Chandar, and I'm 1988 batch IPS officer, retired from Delhi Police. I was DGP Goa and then retired from Delhi Special Conflicts. And I also hold a law degree and under the education.
So you were in police for how many years total?
Almost 33 and a half.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for serving the country. Alphabetical order, last name, we go to Bindu.
Good morning, everyone. I'm an advocate by profession. I have been dealing with criminal, family, and corporate matters till now. I'm also running a foundation with the name Bindura Foundation. So since I have started working, I'm having a working experience in particular law field of 10 years. And I have been trying to work for giving justice to individuals. So I'm very thankful for the invitation today to be among the senior people who are having knowledge of the field. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Shobha, we go to you next. Okay, Shobha. All right, we go to Dr. Raju next. You're on mute. Can't hear you, Anthony. Anthony, we can't hear you. We'll go to Mr. Ribeiro next and then come back to Shobha.
Good morning,
Good morning.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for calling me to join this seminar. I'm only interested in one point, very important point, and that this initiative of the Cockroach Party should not make the mistake that Anna's followers did of joining political parties like Kiran Bedi did and Arvind Kejriwal. They should not keep away from politics. Only then they will be totally useful. And they should only, every time, make an effort to oppose corruption and autocratism. So I think that if they do that.
मीटिंग मध्ये मी कॉल करतो ना संपल्यावर.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Because
yes.
I have a very, unfortunately, a poor voice.
We can hear you
Thank you,
just
sir.
fine.
Yeah. If they remain above politics, they will do a great service to the nation.
At least tell them to change the name of the party, no? You're okay with that name, Mr. Ribeiro?
I think the name is stuck. And
Okay.
since everybody knows it by their name, I think
Okay.
it's fine if they call it a party, but they should
Right.
not become a political party.
Wonderful. Great advice. But how do you bring about change in India and make India a first world nation without getting into politics? How can they make a change?
Well, that is the job of the politicians and leave it to them. But the CJP, which has said that they will fight corruption and all illegal orders, autocratism, which is not democratic, I think that they should stick to it and not get involved in politics. If they get involved in politics, then they are not going to be of any use.
Okay, good. We'll come back to CJP. Shobha, please introduce yourself.
So my introduction, good morning to all, is very simple. I'm a senior advocate in Supreme Court. And that's it. My heart bleeds for wellness for the country. And I'm really, really disturbed with the fact that the students were handled the way they were handled at Jantar Mantar or rest of the part of the country when they are doing the peaceful protest. I agreed for this conference for this major reason, that if we can discuss that, is this the way we are continuing to deal with our students? Why are we not changing? It's been long the students have faced these kind of acts or handling by the government. Governments keep changing, but the handling is not changing. Sometimes it becomes more brutal. Sometimes it is lesser brutal, but it's brutal. And if they are peaceful protesters, then why this handling? Why this way of handling? Why can't the police change? Why can't the governments learn how to deal with peaceful protesters?
Good. We'll come back. Anthony Raju, if you can introduce yourself.
I'm Dr. Anthony Raju. I'm practicing with Supreme Court and chairman of All India Council of Human Rights, Liberties and Social Justice, having operation in more than 100 countries. And Mr. Vikram Singh knows me very well and other people as well. And I'm totally, I just give another example. I'm agree with the Mr. Julio Sahib that as far as the Andolan is concerned, we have seen a lot of I've seen a lot of Andolan. But the best part is, that जब अन्ना आंदोलन हुआ तो अन्ना आंदोलन के दो पार्ट निकल के आए, एक आम आदमी पार्टी और जो बचे 99 मतलब ऑलमोस्ट 99% ज्वाइन बीजेपी. सो अगर सीजेपी का ये हाल होना है तो ये अपना आप में बहुत बड़ी चीटिंग होगी कंट्री के साथ में. That's it.
Okay. But Mr. Raju, do you, or Dr. Raju, do you agree to the underlying premise that peaceful protests are a constitutional right for the 1.45 billion people of India?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the constitutional rights, and it should be a peaceful protest. And definitely, this protest was absolutely peaceful. But why the lathi charge has been done, why this atrocity has been done on the children, God knows.
Okay. Dr. Singh, Vikram Singh, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very briefly, Vikram Singh, 1974 batch of the IPS, former Director General of Police Uttar Pradesh, 4 gallantry medals, and now Chancellor, Noida International University, the largest private university in the NCR, and 15 PhDs post-retirement have been conducted under me after my retirement. Thank you.
So, Dr. Singh, India, as you know very well, was liberated through protest, civil disobedience, and agitation. So why are we having such a big problem now with these students protesting?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would say that protests are our fundamental rights. The right to protest and the right to disagree are fundamental and absolutely imperative for a democracy, a functional democracy. But yes, as my law instructor told me, I have a right to swing my cane. but my cane's tip should not extend to somebody else's nose. That should be respected by one and all. And I'm speaking before very senior advocates. Therefore, I would say there's always a best way of doing everything. If there's an opportunity, I'll tell you how we badly bungled in case of handling this agitation. We are oblivious of the number of people who wanted to come in. We were oblivious of what to do, what not to do. Never in the history of Delhi police has a police commissioner being changed midway. That goes to show the horrible fault lines within the police department and the government. And then there is, I would say, I've 36 years, I have been the DG police and in field posting. Never once did I have to use a force against students. Never, not once. And just you have to have a credibility of a level that, my dear students, this is what we expect of you to do. Please don't transgress the rule of law. But in this case, I think we started by, instead of putting our best foot forward, we put the wrong foot forward. No appreciation of the crowds, no appreciation of the do, and then to talk of using non-lethal. If you'll excuse me, tear gas when fired from a 20-inch barrel, can have a devastating effect. It can even lead to long-term consequences of PTSD. And if the tear gas is aimed at the body part, it is no longer non-lethal, it becomes lethal. Now, lathi charge. Lathi can be more deadly than a rubber bullet also. And therefore, indiscriminate lathi charge, please take pains to ensure that lathi should be given by 3 warnings before any use of force. I'm not aware everything is recorded by video with 3 warnings given. बलवाइयों तुम्हारा मजमा खिलाफ कानून किया जाता है, भाग जाओ भाग जाओ भाग जाओ, वरना तुमको तितर बितर करने के लिए टीयर गैस चलाएंगे. I don't think everything was absolutely wishy-washy and knee-jerk reactions. And when there is knee-jerk, it gives the indication that the commander is having them. Then no police briefing every day in the evening. And the GD entry, the critical 1.42 AM GD entry, the tear gas shells were fired on the orders of Mr. Raja Bhatia. Why did we have to conceal it for 3 days? If you are straightforward, clear in your heart and conscience, there is no need to conceal anything. Use of pellet guns, if it had been legitimate, it would have been pardonable. If illegitimate, then I'm afraid that after every such use of force, sirs and ladies, there is an inquiry by a magistrate and a criminal investigation. I do hope it does happen. Responsibility fixed, whether there was any indiscriminate firing. And in the absence of any legitimate press briefing by the top boss of the Delhi police, I feel it is going to be free for all allegations and counter allegation. Sir.
Thank you. So, Dr. Chandar, it's nice that the Indian Constitution has freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, and people want to protest. We are a democracy. That's a good thing. But from the other point of view, from the police point of view, 10,000 people start marching towards the parliament, and it's peaceful, but you don't know in what minute it's going to maybe turn unpeaceful and violent. What's going on inside the police department's office at that time? What's going on if you were head of police at Delhi when you hear about 10,000 people marching? What's the thought process?
Thank you. I would not specifically comment on this agitation, but in general, the principles of crowd control have been taught to every police officer everywhere, and that is what we learn throughout. So first of all is, as Vikram Singh sir has said, intelligence. The intelligence has to be collected based on several parameters, talking to the people, organizers, crowd, social media, and judging the mood of the people. So this is important. And the second important point is communication, keeping the dialogue open, negotiate, warn, as sir has mentioned, warning. There is a clear way of conveying this warning now, possible through social media, possible through drones, possible through loudspeakers, and then only the use of force is permitted. It's legal, but the use of force has to be proportionate to the type of crowd. If students unarmed are agitating and they're moving away, there is no point in putting a lathi charge at the back when they're going away from the place. So, as soon as the objective is achieved, the use of force has to be stopped. It is like You have a boil on your leg. Do you perform a minor surgery or you cut the leg there itself? It depends on the symptoms. It depends whether it is a simple infection or it is leading to gangrene. And then most important part is neutrality. Police has to be neutral, and the response has to be calibrated, proportional, and as soon as the objective is achieved, the use of force has to stop. And obviously, one more important thing in everything, like crowd does not have a mind of its own. When the police is on the ground, we have seen very often, there the command and control also vanishes. And the person who has got a pellet gun or the person who has got a lathi, he is a mind on in itself and he applies his own mind without bothering for the command and control structure. So there has to be a very distinguished, very important balance in whatever we do and why we do. A person, a lady, if she's moving away from the crowd, there's no point beating her or him. Because the objective is being achieved. They're walking away from the point, and that's what the wanted. But at the same time, the equal responsibility lies on the students also, the educators also. The right is there, but there are constitutional restraints also imposed simultaneously that they have to respect the law, safeguard public property, take care of the national security. They cannot indefinitely stop the roads, railways, and public utilities and follow the police guidelines. And also, one important thing when there is a crowd, you cannot control whether there are antisocial elements which are coming in, where there are people just for the fun of it, for free food, or for making reels who have got no objective of the education in mind. This also is a very important factor which the organizers of any peaceful protest have to take care. Otherwise, sentiments are high. Uh, Anonymity, the crowd anonymity is one important factor which leads to uncontrollable behavior many times, and respect for the police as well as abuses and they achieve no purpose. They are not serving the legitimate goals of the education. So without going into those things, also the education can be controlled. And today, when we have got electronic means of command and control, same applies to police, same applies to the organizers and educators also.
So, Mr. Ribeiro, you have a lifetime of experience in dealing with all of this. What is your response to how the police behaved and acted, and what piece of advice for them if it happens another time? Your microphone's muted. You need to unmute.
Sir could be contacted on phone.
They,
There'll be an
they
assistant
are
who would help us
not
to
serving
unmute himself.
the
Yeah, there you go.
legitimate
Done.
Okay,
goals of
sorry.
the education.
Now it has been put
Without
on.
going into those things, also the education can be
I've been unmuted.
controlled.
So
Yes.
this nobody seems to have spoken to the students. That
So,
would be
Mr.
the
Ribeiro,
first thing
you
that they
have
should have
a
done
lifetime of
and
experience.
got them on their side. The students were definitely peaceful. Now the ones who were supposed to be there, there's 200 and odd, which the police said was present. It looks very suspicious to me that surely the students don't know who the bad characters are. How did all the bad characters in Delhi descend at one place? I mean, a few bad characters always join because they want to see opportunities to loot. That is their normal preference. But in this case, there didn't seem to be any opportunity to loot. And yet they joined. Now, and also, if that uh, vehicle which had the stones, it has been traced to the police that they had seized it. That is what I learned from the newspapers. If that is true, then it looks very suspicious to me. And I think this is a very bad tactic on the part of the police. I would certainly not have adopted such tactic. What I would have done is going to talk to them, get them on my side. In fact, they would be mellowed down. And if they were bad characters, they should have been lifted, because that is our usual SOP, standard operating procedure, which does not seem to have been done. I'm very worried about how the police responded to that part of it. Once the thing starts, I would not take any action against the police, because they are all constabulary and they just follow orders. And if they've been asked to see that the people are dispersed, well then, I suppose they will carry out that order, and no action should be taken against them. What should be taken is to find out how they fail to locate those bad characters beforehand and lift them, which they don't seem to have done. And also, why they did not go and speak to the boys, to the students earlier. These are the two things that I found rather suspicious.
Thank you so much. So Shobha, what is the right way of doing this? The government wants to honor freedom of speech, but the government also doesn't want violence on the streets and destruction of public property and harm to people. But everybody who's protesting has a right to protest, but then there's antisocial elements that join. If you had to structure how to do protests in India, what would that structure look like that takes into account everything? Shobha? Okay, Anthony, you want to answer that? Or Shobha?
Can you
Shobha,
hear
you
me
mute.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying, first of all, the question does not arise of government wants to honor. Government has no choice but to honor, because Constitution says so. Article 19 is quite clear, which you have also mentioned. People have a right, citizens of this country have a right to assemble, to actually do a doing it.
Bindu or Anthony, do you want to answer that? We'll go to
Pictures
Shobha
of which
first.
we could see. Am I not audible?
Uh,
I think it's
you went
so
for
that
a
the
minute.
bandwidth is
but-
there. Sometimes there's a bandwidth issue.
Am I not audible, Navneet?
You are.
I am. So I was saying that no question of government honoring does arise. It's a constitution mandate. The government has to respect if somebody wants to do a peaceful protest. Here, interestingly, they informed the government well in advance. As a matter of fact, what we could notice from the reports from TV and other media reports, that the Delhi police went to the airport, gave the permission, handed out the permission to them. So to begin the protest, everything was okay. It continued for days together. There was hardly any crowd. Why didn't anybody from the government actually go and talk to them? If the students are saying, and they could notice that the followers are 2 crores. So that was a group which may be 200 in numbers or 700 in numbers on the ground, but they were representing a crowd of 2 crores. Now, if they were there and they said this protest would continue unless you listen to us, do we have any information? According to me, we couldn't notice that anyone from the government actually reached out to them till 20th of July or later. Now, once the crowd started bloating, then what did the government do? Did the government inform that we are not going to permit beyond this number here? Now assume for a moment if the students, if the future of this country wanted to walk in good numbers on the roads, see, I would ask for a progressive government to say, please allow them to do that. Deploy a good number of policemen around like they did to stop them, to allow them the march. It would have been a very, golden day for the democracy had the government said, you wanted to come to parliament belongs to them, we are only the representative 543 sitting over here, please come, 10 of you, 20 of you, sit here, see how does the parliament function, this belongs to you, we are only your representative, each and every single MP and MLA are only representing us, the people of that particular constituency. Why can't the students be invited? Couldn't have been invited over there. Please come, 10 of you, you nominate 10 people or 20 of you, come here, watch the proceedings live, and then we can discuss it out. They should have given this opportunity to the students to speak. Now the law is well settled. You can't use force on peaceful protesters. We have seen n number of judgments. And they have given, and the police people are so many of the highly decorated police persons sitting over here, they have a regime to follow. As Mr. Vikram Singh said, where were the announcements? When did they say we are going to leash out the lathis from this moment onwards if you don't stop? But what was that one provoking point for the police when they could see, oh, there is no other option but to actually leash out lathi on them? We don't see any such provoking point by the students. So dealing with your future, your young youth, like this was something completely which I personally would say it was painful. It was completely undemocratic, unconstitutional, and the police persons who all could be seen on the videos and photographs should be taken to task. Be it a case of lathi or pellet guns or tear smoke.
So, Bindu, some of the people that were hurt by the lathis and tear gas come to you for recovery of damages and injury. What are you saying to them? What's your advice?
See, the use of force should always be the last resort. It should never be the first resort. We are living in a democracy, we are very lucky, and in a democracy, dissent has to be there. If dissent is not there, it means that we are not living in a true democracy. So if we talk about the force, as I said, that it should always be the last resort, and police must first try to attempt a dialogue. The police must try to do some negotiation talks or some warnings, or they should try some other non-violent methods. So any force, if at all it is being used, it has to be lawful. See, no one is beyond the purview of the law. The police cannot use force if it is not legally allowed to them. If it is not necessary and if it is not proportionate, the use of force should be discouraged. It is not lawful as well. And there should be a proper framework wherein uh, wherein it is going to improve some kind of transparency. So the way Vikram sir was saying that the police has to warn first. So if they are doing any such things and if they are taking some other kinds of precautions, it is going to show that things are at least transparent, and then the population, the world, the country, and the youth will be able to believe in the law that okay, this transparency is there and we are not being kept in dark. So clear legal guidelines have to be there, which require negotiation, warnings, and de-escalation. And even if at all it is not working, then only the force can be used, and that too has to be proportionate. We have to keep in mind that they are students.
So, Bindu, we have 1.45 billion people now. It's the most populous country in the world. We were the richest country in the world from year 1 to 1750. Now we're 132nd from per capita income. 1978, China and India were both at $300 per year of income. Now China is at 15,000, we are at 3,000 per year, 5x lesser than China. And maybe the difference between 15,000 and $3,000 per year of $12,000 is not much, but when you multiply it by 1.4 billion people, it ends up being a $15 trillion difference. And I wonder that can a country like India with 29 states and 1.45 billion people, can it be run from one city in India? And isn't it time that somehow we gave more power to the states and the states gave more power to the districts and the districts give more power to the cities where people actually live? Then these things would reduce, because I remember a couple of years ago, the farmers in Punjab were having problems with the price, and they're doing a morcha in Delhi. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, where is the agriculture minister of Punjab? Where is the mayor of Ludhiana or Chandigarh or Kapurthala or wherever these agriculture is being produced? Where is the chief minister of Punjab? Where is the governor of Punjab? Where is the police of Punjab? Why are these people in Delhi and whoever is in Delhi, why aren't they telling them, hey, go back to your state? I don't have power over prices of kanak and gehu and wheat. What's your take on, do you think India can survive till we give more powers to the states?
See, yes, I believe that we are living in a democratic setup, and all the states they are having their own system. But ultimately, why people prefer to march to Delhi? Because in this particular protest, because we started after CJP protest, so because they said the youth said that they were having issues due to a need paper leak, and they were having issues with the Education Minister of India. So that was the reason they chose Delhi. But I really agree with you, Naveen ji, that the more power should be given. And then, see, these things cannot be controlled, right? Students in a democracy, there has to be the power to dissent. And the students, the way they did here in Delhi, see, they had no place. There is one more such protest going on in Jharkhand. So if we are talking about state, that is going on. So somehow, as Ribeiro sir was saying, that politics should get disconnected from such protest. Of course, the states are having power, and definitely, I would love to see a situation where people are respecting the country, respecting the democracy. They are doing agitations as well, but then they are not being unlawful, and they are first trying to address the issue from their own state where the things are happening. So I agree with you on this thing that more
And
power should be definitely
medical
given.
college admissions should be city problem or state problem, or why is Delhi involved in medical college admissions? There's so many bigger things to take care of. But anyways,
Yes.
I'm going to request Anthony for a counterpoint. Anthony, by the way, the audience, we haven't prepared these questions. We have a very luminary speakers and on our panels. So when somebody says that, hey, you have to prepare, and I'm like, no, we don't have to prepare. So Anthony, CJP comes to you for advice on the next 50 years of their life in India. What's your advice to them?
Navneet Saab, frankly speaking, as far the Andolan is concerned, मेरा ट्रस्ट जो आंदोलन से उठ चुका है. Why I'm telling this thing? That resigning of education minister, do you think it is resolved the cause of this country for the education? बिल्कुल नहीं सर. आज एक कानून बना है, विक्रम साहब, बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. आज एक कानून बना है साहब. आप लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द कानून. एजुकेशन का उन्होंने एक कानून पास कर दिया जिसमें 2 से या 3 साल की 10 साल की सजा है और 50 लाख का जुर्माना है. कैन यू जस्ट टेल मी वन थिंग सर? इस देश के करोड़ों गरीब बच्चे जो मेरे हैं, जिनकी लाइफ दांव पे लग गई है, आज यकीन मानिए 22 से 23 लाख बच्चों ने नेट के एग्जाम दिए, पर उसमें से जो अभी री एग्जाम हुआ है, सिर्फ सिर्फ 20 लाख या 21 लाख बच्चों ने एग्जाम दिए, बाकी 3 लाख बच्चे कहां चले गए? Why am I asking this question? See, there are court, there are high court, there are supreme, everything is there. Can't Supreme Court take the suo motu on this part कि भैया 3 लाख बच्चे कहां चले गए? ये जो गरीब बच्चे जिनके माँ बापों ने उधार लेके कर्ज लेके अपने बच्चों को नेट एग्जाम में बैठाया सर, उनका क्या होगा? डू यू थिंक जो लोग मास्टर माइंड है इस पूरे पूरे सिस्टम के, जो आपने जो एजुकेशन के नाम पे कारखाने खुले हुए हैं, करोड़ों अरबों रुपए की बेनामी प्रॉपर्टीज, मैंने खुला एक लेटर लिखा प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब को। मैंने कहा जनाब, अगर आप कुछ चेंज करना चाहते हैं, लेट्स चेंज द एनएसए और यूएपीए में चेंज करके, और जो लोग इसमें शामिल हैं उनको उम्र कैद की सजा सुनाई जाए, उनकी बेनामी प्रॉपर्टी को जब्त किया जाए, तब जाके कुछ होगा सर। एक शिक्षा मंत्री के जाने से या आने से देश में कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है। आज की डेट में लाखों स्कूल बंद किए जा रहे हैं, लाखों स्कूल में बेसिक फैसिलिटी नहीं है, लाखों स्कूल में टीचर नहीं है सर। अगर हमारे बच्चों को, जो करोड़ों बच्चे हैं सर, अगर उनको हम अनपढ़ रखना चाहते हैं, तभी तो ये देश कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा सर? दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से। तो जय आंदोलन की बात करें सर, आई हैव सीन द आंदोलन ऑफ अन्ना हजारे को 4 दीवारी में आज सुरक्षित कर दिया गया। और मैंने जैसा आपको बताया कि 2 चीज निकल के आई उसमें से, एक आम आदमी पार्टी जो भी है ठीक है, और बाकी सारे बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर गए। तो दिस इज द कंसेप्ट विच इज गोइंग ऑन। और एज पर जो शोभा मैम बता रही थी कि हो सकता है वहां पे कुछ मिसक्रिएंट्स हो उस आंदोलन के अंदर, तो उसको कौन जज करेगा? मतलब आपको किसने ऑथराइज किया? ना क्वेश्चन इज दिस, हु ऑथराइज यू टू यूज द पैलेट गन? दैट इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। हु ऑथराइज यू टू यूज द डंडा एंड ऑल अदर थिंग्स? Who authorized you to play with the respect of the woman? एक 15 साल की लड़की हाथ जोड़ के माफी मांग रही, व्हाट डज इट मीन? हम क्या सिंबल देना चाहते हैं 140 करोड़ जनता को? दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से।
डॉक्टर चंद्र, थैंक यू एंथनी।
इसमें और ऐड करना चाहूंगा जो डॉक्टर एंथनी ने कहा है कि नीट या कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम में पेपर लीक होता है या उसमें चीटिंग होती है, ये एक प्रॉब्लम है। सबसे पहले तो हमें ये एक्नॉलेज करना पड़ेगा, इस प्रॉब्लम से लाखों बच्चे अफेक्ट होते हैं। दूसरी बात, हम पनिशमेंट बढ़ाते जाएंगे, सिवियरिटी ऑफ पनिशमेंट इज नॉट एज इम्पोर्टेंट एज सर्टेनिटी ऑफ द पनिशमेंट। सो मर्डर की सजा फांसी है कि उससे मर्डर रुक गए सोसाइटी में? बिल्कुल नहीं रुके। आप उसको 2 बार फांसी में लगाएंगे तो भी वो मर्डर नहीं रुकेंगे। जो लीकेज का सवाल है या चीटिंग का सवाल है, नीट का ही एक एग्जाम्पल बता, जिसमें गोवा में मैंने एक केस पकड़ा जिसमें एग्जाम देने कोई और कैंडिडेट आता था, 40 लाख 50 लाख का रेट था, और उनकी बदकिस्मती से जो एक्चुअल कैंडिडेट है वो भी पहुंच गया और डमी कैंडिडेट है वो भी पहुंच गया, और दोनों पहुंच गए। तो जब कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ तो पकड़ा गया, तो पता चला बहुत बिहार से लोग वहां पे एग्जाम देने आते थे। एक पूरा बड़ा रैकेट है। लेकिन क्यों ये हुआ, उस समस्या को समझना का प्रयास करना कि ये लीकेज या चीटिंग की जड़ें कहाँ है। आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, एक एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर को बदलने से व्यवस्था नहीं बदल जाएगी, या सजा को बढ़ा देने से क्राइम करने की टेंडेंसी नहीं बंद हो जाएगी। तो हमें उस संस्थागत जो लूप होल्स है, हमें उनको भी एड्रेस करना पड़ेगा। और आजकल बायोमेट्रिक्स का जमाना है, हम क्यों नहीं बायोमेट्रिक सिस्टम एम्प्लॉय करते? और लीकेज जहां से होती है, लीकेज क्वेश्चन बनाने वाला, क्वेश्चन को ट्रांसलेट करने वाला और उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने वाला, प्रिंट करने वाला, जो भी सिस्टम में लोग हैं, उन्हीं में कहीं ना कहीं कमी है। फ्रॉम पुलिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इट इज वेरी इजी टू आइडेंटिफाई कि ये लीकेज होती क्यों है और कहाँ से होती है और उनको कैसे बंद किया जा सकता है। टेक्नोलॉजी का जमाना है, एनक्रिप्टेड क्वेश्चंस हो, उनके ट्रांसलेशन हो, क्वेश्चन बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन बैंक हो, तो इसमें से रैंडमली सेलेक्ट किए जाए। ऐसे बहुत सारे मेथड है, एंड आई एम श्योर द कमिटी व्हिच हैज बीन फॉर्म्ड विल कम आउट विद almost a full system as of now, so that this problem is taken care of. खाली एक मंत्री जी के रेजिग्नेशन से कोई समस्या हल नहीं होगी। ठीक है, सिंबॉलिकली ये चीज हो गई है और गवर्नमेंट ने इसका संज्ञान लिया है, लेकिन व्यवस्था, संस्थागत जो लूप होल्स हैं, उनको प्लग करना बहुत जरूरी।
Dr. Vikram Singh.
Sir, Mr. Navneet, I would like words of profound wisdom from all the esteemed speakers. I would like to take 2 or 3 points. That corruption seems to have been inbuilt in this system of examination, inbuilt. Everybody seems to be a beneficiary in the loot because the coaching industry, by a rough estimate, exceeds 20,000 crores. And the coaching mafia, wherever you put your hand, it is the coaching mafia behind all leakages. And the education ministry has not covered themselves with glory in the sense. Look at I take you back to one year, the last NEET examination. They said, we'll open the window for late submission of application forms. Why such special consideration? Why this mercy? And lo and behold, all the latecomers, guess how many of those qualified in the NEET examination? A window opened for them, and 60% of the latecomers qualify for the NEET. It is highly suspicious. And then all the medical college, private medical college, private medical nursing home owners would like their children naturally so to become doctors. And they would spend absurd and ridiculous, scandalous amounts to get their children to doctors, and they are the biggest beneficiaries. Therefore, technology has taken to a different, the use of AI, the use of futuristic technologies, disruptive machine learning, everything has now come into copying. And therefore, the formal education system has gone to the dogs in the sense the government universities, the government schools, what used to be the best, you could showcase them with the best school, now have no place whatsoever. Every good teacher is now working in the coaching with the coaching mafia. Therefore, as Mr. Muktesh Chandri has said, that the deterrence, the certainty of punishment is the biggest deterrent. And unfortunately, Mr. Navneet, we have not been able to nail a single mafia right across the country. Cosmetic treatment, touch and go, and that is where the problem arises. We are not serious about punishing the guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Ribeiro, the people that have died or the people that suffered injuries, should they be compensated?
Well, I think that is what is normally done and expected. So I suppose you can compensate them. There should not be any problem about compensating them, unless you can prove that they are themselves culprits. Like you said, that a lot of criminal element joined in. I would not compensate any of them, but the students certainly, and even police who suffered in this, they should be compensated. I'm also interested in talking about the mafia. Now, this mafia, which is particularly around quota, that has to be investigated by the ED. The ED is only investigating enemies of the party. They should now investigate enemies of the country, and they have been formed because the NEET has become a central test. When it was formerly with the states, I think that was a better idea. I don't know why we are getting everything done in Delhi. It is not a good idea. If the NEET was held in each state like it was formerly, I think that would be the solution to this problem, particularly to the problem of the mafia, because they have grown, they are concentrated now, and they should be investigated. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Bindu, there's a question from Sai in our audience. And Sai is wondering that when university students do their protests outside the campus, what right does the university have to stop them from participating in a protest outside the campus? And do their disciplinary jurisdiction extend to off-campus and social media activity? What's your take? Unmute. Bindu, if you can unmute, please.
Please unmute.
Sorry. So what I was saying, that universities should encourage a kind of debate and critical thinking, because that is the place from where the students are leaving and getting shaped to face the world, to run the country. So students, they should never be punished merely for if they are peacefully expressing their views or political opinions. However, there should be disciplinary action if there is some kind of misconduct being done by them, like, they are insulting the country, or they are insulting the symbols of the country, or they are abusing, then definitely there has to be a disciplinary action. But if they are peacefully protesting and if they are peacefully expressing their views, there should be no action on them. It should be encouraged, in my views.
Thank you. So the next question is I didn't get a finish answer to a question. Maybe Dr. Vikram Singh, you can help. So the 10 founders of CJP come to you for advice, and I don't know exactly if you're in favor of this party or that, but given your education and experience, I think you should be able to guide anybody on any side. So what's your advice for the benefit of the nation to CJP on how they should behave the next 20, 30 years of their life?
Thank you very much, sir. In my own humble and small way, I would say with my limited knowledge, that of course your right to dissent is absolutely inalienable, sacred and sacrosanct. There is no doubt about it. But please try to keep on the right side of the law, because there can be terrible consequences in today's of IT world. We have apps that are known as Yaksh app of UP Police and other apps of the MHA. Any small misdemeanor on my part and I transgress, I may be right and I may be wrong, but the moment I transgress the rule of law, I am covered by CCTNS, and that can have terrible consequences for me and my future. I can even be debarred from all public services, private jobs, loans from the banks, issue of credit cards, etc. Of course, it's your right to be have a peaceful protest, to whatever. And the horrible fault lines that we have seen in the recent years in respect of leakage after leakage after leakage after leakage, that calls for course correction. And what better course correction than you? I would say, please have something and cover yourself legally. The first axiom: if there has to be a protest, it has to be peaceful. Cover yourself legally so that nobody can raise a finger or accusing finger of that. And if there is, I'm sure that people, they're like Bindu ma'am, people like you, Mr. Navneet and Mr. Anthony, who would be by your side, and myself included. I'm heading a university with 16,000 students, and I tell them what I'm advising on your wonderful platform is that, of course, I would welcome you. But as Bindu ma'am had very eloquently expressed, that as long as it is legal, as long as it is peaceful, no questions asked. But the moment you transgress the rule of law, perhaps as a father figure of your university, I might try to overlook a small or one or two misdemeanors. But there is a limit to my threshold also. Therefore, there may be a time where I or your parents may not be of much assistance to you. Therefore, be peaceful, abide by the rule of law. And, these are days of IT. If I figure in some social media or in the police records, perhaps it's going to stick for some time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sir,
So
I
Anthony,
just want
yeah,
to add
go
one
ahead.
point, if I'm allowed. Any kind of violence or any kind of destruction of property or any kind of hate speech or any kind of communal hate comment or any kind of abuses or intimidation, it should not be allowed. And students, they have to realize that after finishing their college, they are very young minds right now. They are still learning. They have still not seen the real world. So they should know that whatever I have to do, because I'm living in a country like India where there is rule of democracy, so I should know how to respect the democracy. So they should also know that after finishing their education, they have the world to face. And when after these things, and today we are living in the era of social media, everything, you never know what goes viral in just one click. So they will have to remember that after this, if they are going to work somewhere, there are going to be background checks as well. In case they are somehow trying to get slipped from the clutches of law, they are definitely not going to be given chances by their future employers. No would want to hire such a person who has shown such a abusive and intimidating face to the world. So they'll have to keep in mind and they'll have to behave responsibly. So protest, do everything, know your rights, but you should know that there are duties as well, and you have to follow your duties as well while exercising your rights. That's the only thing that I wanted to add to this thing, sir. Thank you.
So, Mr. Ribeiro, you've had an extensive experience with law and order in India, and you're also an ambassador. And I remember there were a few assassination attempts against you as well, and you survived all of them. And thank you for all the great service you've done. So, do you feel that some of these protests are happening because deep down there is poverty and there's unemployment, and the youngsters, hundreds of millions of them, feel like the future in India is not very good, and most of the rich people of India are sending their kids abroad to study, and then a majority of the country can't afford all of this stuff. So there are fundamental issues going on with India. And given the wonderful life you've lived and experiences you have, what is your advice to fix India, and this advice to all of the leadership that's running India?
I don't think that my advice will be accepted. Anyway, I'll give it to you if you like. Now, the fact is that this people who have, as I told you, have sorry, I didn't get your question, but I'll talk generally, say that the economic of the enforcement directorate should now please find out where the money from those mafia, that is your the people who are in quota, the ones who do the coaching classes. The coaching classes have become a huge source of black money. So I think that is where they should investigate, instead of investigating some critics, and then find out from where that money is going. That would be an interesting part for us to do.
Okay, so let me ask you more.
My advice to the politicians, I don't think they'll take my advice. They are in the process of.
Whether they take our advice or not, it's our job and duty to talk and give advice. So let me ask you a more direct question then. If you were made Prime Minister of India and you're only given a 1-year term, what is 2 or 3 things you would do to fix India?
I will see that the great anomalies between those who are at the top, richest, and the ones who are at the bottom level is reduced. Today, it's a shame that people like me are becoming richer, whereas people who are really required are getting poorer. That is the greatest problem. And unemployment is definitely the problem that is behind what the students have protested against. They're all unemployed, and it's a shame.
Thank you. So, Advocate Raj, there's a question for you. Can stricter laws alone deter crime and corruption in education when parents, teachers, students, and coaching institutes are themselves willing to use unfair means to secure admissions? Doesn't real reform require a change in our mindset too? This is by Advocate Raj.
See, my answer is absolutely clear, as I told you earlier also, कि सिस्टम को बदलने के लिए हमें वी हैव टू चेंज अवर मानसिकता ऑल्सो, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और यहाँ पे जो माननीय कोर्ट हैं, चाहे वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट हो चाहे हाई कोर्ट हो, दैट हेल्प्स, उनको भी थोड़ा प्रोएक्टिव होना पड़ेगा. एंड आई एम एग्री विद डॉक्टर मुक्तेश साहब कि किसी की लाइक एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट शिक्षा मंत्री चलेगा यार, व्हाट डज इट मेक एनी डिफरेंस? नो. आपको यकीन मानिए नवनीत साहब, मैंने अभी एक इंस्टाग्राम पे एक वीडियो डाली जिसमें मैंने एक छोटी सी वीडियो डाली रील, जिसमें मैंने लिखा कि जिन बच्चों को, I'm talking the primary class, जिन बच्चों को टीसी या या टीसी या फीस नहीं जमा करने की वजह से स्कूल बेइज्जत करते हैं, परेशान करते हैं, लाचार करते हैं, बेबस करते हैं, उनके साथ क्या किया जाए? उनके साथ डॉक्टर एंथनी राजू खड़ा है। कैन यू बिलीव दैट 28 दिन के अंदर 3.2 मिलियन व्यूज है सर उसके, एंड आई एम गेटिंग हंड्रेड्स ऑफ कॉल एवरी डे, एंड वॉट एवर आई कैन डू आई एम डूइंग। मैंने काफी सारे लाइक प्रो बोनो लीगल नोटिस इशू करे हैं। मैं नाम लेना नहीं चाहूंगा उन स्कूलों को, और उन स्कूलों को जब मैंने लीगल नोटिस इशू करे, ट्रस्ट मी, उन्होंने बच्चों की फीस भी माफ कर दी, और अगले 10-12 साल जितने साल वो बच्चा स्कूल में पढ़ेगा उसकी फीस। बच्चों को क्यों हम परेशान कर रहे हैं? क्या शिक्षा, द एजुकेशन इज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ द फ्यूचर। अगर हम बच्चों का फ्यूचर ही खत्म कर देंगे तो वेयर दिस कंट्री इज गोइंग ऑन। और करप्शन की तो खैर मैं क्या बात करूं सर, आप सब जानते हैं कि करप्शन किस लेवल पे है। और करप्शन भी सर इस लेवल पे इसलिए बढ़ रहा है क्योंकि वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू दी सेक्रीफाइस। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं अपने बेटे को अगर मुझे एमबीबीएस में एडमिशन कराना है, और अगर वो नीट क्वालिफाई नहीं कर पाया, बाय हुक एंड क्रुक, चाहे मुझे अंडर टेबल देना पड़े चाहे ओवर द टेबल देना पड़े, मैं अपने बच्चों को एडमिशन कराऊंगा। तो करप्शन तो मैंने बताया ना कि ये चारों तरफ से फैली हुई है। हम लोग अपनी महत्वाकांक्षा, अपनी इच्छाओं को पूरा करने के लिए अपने बच्चों को झोंक देते हैं सर। चाहे कुछ भी करना पड़े, हम अपने बच्चों को डॉक्टर बनाएंगे, अपने बच्चों को ये बनाएंगे वो बनाएंगे, चाहे उसके लिए हमें रिश्वत देनी पड़े, चाहे पीएम की किसी, मतलब वो, दिस इज द नॉनसेंस व्हिच इज गोइंग ऑन इन दिस कंट्री। और आपने जहां तक सीजेपी आंदोलन की बात करें, आई मेट दोज पीपल पर्सनली एज वेल, एंड आई टोल्ड देम, यकीन मानिए मैंने उनको बोला था कि यार ये जो मंच है ना, इस पे कोई भी पॉलिटिकल बंदा नहीं आना चाहिए। लेकिन आपको शायद याद हो, 20 या 25 या 30 दिन, जितने दिन भी आंदोलन चला, आई थिंक जितने भी विपक्षी दल थे, आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट एनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, बट ऐसा कोई विपक्षी दल नहीं था सर जो उस स्टेज पर ना आया हो। तो मुझे तो थोड़ा डाउट लग रहा है इस पूरे आंदोलन के ऊपर। बट एनीवे, द टाइम विल टेल यू व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी हैपन। थैंक यू।
सर इसमें मैं कुछ ऐड करना
Yes,
चाहूंगी,
they
अगर
do.
आप अलाउ करें मुझे। सर सीजीपी के हेड, उनका एक वीडियो वायरल हो रहा था। ही वाज कॉपिंग आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर, फ्रेंड्स ही वाज ट्राइंग टू कॉपी हिज एक्सेंट, and he was commenting on his complexion, that your complexion is brighter than the future of India. So sir, there should be some kind of sense of responsibility as well that has to be shown by people who are trying to show that they are going to be future leaders. सर ऐसा देखने के बाद तो रिस्पेक्ट ही खत्म हो जाती है। बिल्कुल, आई एम नॉट एट ऑल अगेंस्ट एनी काइंड ऑफ सिस्टम। मैं खुद भी स्टूडेंट रही हूँ, हम सब कभी ना कभी स्टूडेंट रहे हैं, आई एग्री विद दैट। बट ये जिस तरह से उन्होंने किया, that doesn't show him at all in a good light. It shows that how much hatred he is having towards the against the PM in his heart. क्या बिगाड़ रहे हैं आप उनका? The PM gracefully, he started talking to Gen Zs in their own language. He has started using those words which are being used by Gen Zs. तो मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगी, और सेकेंडली एक बात और मैं ध्यान दिलाना चाहूंगी, द पेपर लीक दैट वाज हैपनिंग, there was a lady who was translating the paper, who was given the task of translating the paper. तो सर अभी अगर मेरी एथिक्स ही खराब है, मुझे मेरी चोरी की ही नियत है, तो what exactly the prime minister has to do with that? At max he can punish me, and that too if I'm being reported, only then. अब मेरी नियत ही खराब है, after being such a qualified woman, I've been given the task to translate the neat paper, and I'm leaking the paper. So what does that show? तो सर मिनिस्ट्री का एक रोल होता है, गवर्नमेंट का एक रोल होता है, बट देन गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट स्टेप इन टू टेक द टास्क ऑफ योर कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग. So we have to also see that ये बहुत easy होता है. It's very easy to blame PM, to blame government for everything, but we ourselves are not behaving in a responsible way. If we look at Japan, how they behave, public life में they are not going to create pollution, they are not trying to indulge in the corruption and all. And if we just look at us, कुछ भी हो रहा है, हमें कोई right wrong कुछ means नहीं है, बस like anyhow we have to just get our work done. So मेरा एक ये भी टेक है कि जो यूथ है उनको ये भी बताना होगा that you have to build a character. You should know आपका कितना भी dissent होता है, it has to be respectful. You don't like the policies of the government, you be respectful. मतलब ये कोई बात नहीं होती है। अभी आपकी बात मान ली तो धर्मेंद्र प्रधान तो हो गया, अब अगला टारगेट ये है, अगला टारगेट वो है, गवर्नमेंट गिराना है. डोंट ट्राई टू डू ऑल दोस थिंग्स. एंड ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ टॉक्स वर हैपनिंग. If videos were coming for this side, the videos were coming for that side as well. Fine. So everyone knows that they were being fed by some unknown people. So who was sponsoring them? So we cannot deny that fact as well. It is a decency, and it is a good sense of our prime minister. It is foresight of our prime minister that he was able to turn down any such kind of thing which might have been anticipated in other countries. If you just look at Pakistan, just look at Bangladesh, look at Nepal. So we are very lucky that we are having a democratic system. और क्योंकि हमें बोलने का अधिकार दिया हुआ है, फंडामेंटल राइट मिला है, आर्टिकल 19 बिल्कुल सुरक्षित है. बट देन देर इज ऑलवेज there is some condition. Any fundamental right, and this your right to freedom of speech or and expression, it cannot be absolute. So agar hame ye right mile hain, so we have to know that apart from the rights we are having duties, and these rights are not absolute. We have to be respectful. तो character building, morals, ethics सिखाना सबको सब चीज के लिए हम गवर्नमेंट को ही ब्लेम नहीं कर सकते. See, we are living in a family and we cannot control everyone in our family. We don't know. हमें खुद को नहीं पता चलता कि हमारा छोटा वाला बच्चा स्कूल में क्या कर रहा है, right? So उसके लिए मुझे थोड़ी हैंग कर देंगे आप लोग. So somehow
if
we
you
have
were
to be
if you were the
yeah.
prime minister, what would you have done different?
See, the thing is, I think our prime minister has been doing fabulous job since last 10 years, and that is the reason that we can see a lot of things in place. We are able to use GPay. We are sitting like this and we are doing a lot of things. I'm not saying that these things were not at all existing before, but a lot of improvements have already been done. Agar
But
main prime minister
you're
banungi,
closer
yes,
to
sir.
you're
Yes, sir.
closer to Gen Z than PM. So what would you have done different?
Sir, I'm somehow coming midway, बीच में आ रही हूँ that way. So मैं definitely अगर prime minister बनूंगी तो अपने ये prime minister हैं जो हमारे the way he has stood like a rock, मैं उनकी तरह बनूंगी और उनकी legacy को धीरे धीरे आगे ले जाना चाहूंगी.
Okay, please run
Yes,
for
sir.
prime minister. Because
Excuse
if you look
me,
at yeah, 1 second. If you look at um, a lot of countries around the world, it's their leadership is mostly lawyers. So if you look at a country like US, out of 47 presidents, 27 were lawyers. So it's time. We got economic freedom in 91, political freedom in 47. The next revolution of India becoming a first world nation must come from lawyers. So it's time we had a lawyer. So I don't know who's talking, but please run for somehow become a prime minister, Bindu. We need a lawyer to run the country. We've had enough politicians. Dr. Chandar, yeah, Bindu, go ahead. We want to say one day that Bindu, who was a panelist at an Indian Lawyers Association, is now prime minister. What do you have to
Thank you
do
so
to
much,
become
sir.
prime minister? What do you have to do?
First we have to be a very good citizen of our country. We have to love our country first, and after that everything follows.
Okay, but you have to first become a member of parliament?
Yes.
Yeah, or learn from this CJP dude. Was sitting in Boston, just posted something, and now he has halfway there.
That is not the way that you are sitting in a foreign country and then you are commenting on your prime minister accent. You should know that, if you are leaving the boundary of India, wherever you are going, you are an Indian. So अपने देश की बेइज्जती तो नहीं करानी चाहिए बिल्कुल बाहर. हमारा घर का मामला है, हम घर में सलट लेंगे. हम घर में देख लेंगे क्या है.
Bindu, I said
Yes,
that to somebody, and then I was reminded that the people who got us independence, the Gandhis and the Nehrus and Jinnahs, were all abroad. But Bindu, please run. Please make a list of 25 things you have to do to become prime minister one day and march forward. We will support you endlessly. Please run. Dr. Chandra.
This education has been unprecedented in several ways in our history of our country. There are a lot of lessons to be learned as a case study. for the organizers, for the participants, for the government, for the police, including CAPF and the lawmakers, media, online as well as print, and also the human rights activists and institutions. Everyone must go back to the drawing board and understand what happened, why it happened, what went wrong, and what course correction can be done. Of course, the Supreme Court is actively involved into this also, but everyone not to please the Supreme Court, not to answer before the Supreme Court, but honestly, as a self-admission, understand yes, things went wrong in some way or the other several ways. And as a police officer, I would honestly request, at least from the police organizations and the organizers, that some kind of introspection is necessary, and the rule book standard operating procedures have to change, understandings have to change, and we are not a colonial regime anymore. And the democratic rights flowing from Constitution Article 19, as well as the restrictions under Article 19(2), and also various laws have to respect it. We have a we have a problem at hand, and we have to solve the problem in a democratic way. That is the lesson for everyone. I think this must be taken as a case study, and everybody must tweak his laws, regulation, procedures, functioning honestly.
Thank you, Dr. Chandar. Thank you for your service. For a very long time, we've been wanting to do a panel with just IPS members on how to fix the criminal legal system. But we will invite you again. I'm going to go to two audience members. One is Drishya, and the other is Ms. Bharadwaj, who's president of ILA. And then we'll end with Anthony. Go ahead, Drishya.
Hi, sir. My name is Drishya. I'm a research scholar, and recently I've been part of the protest, and I've been there in Delhi since 19th of July. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Actually, I found the panel very interesting, very respectful to all the people assembled here. I can see everybody like seniors, juniors, supermost seniors. I am very happy to get all the insights. But I would like to point out that youth protest actually happened for a reason. When I was doing my research on Jharkhand, I found that since 2000, since the state has formed, the corruption has been existing. So the youth agitation cannot be questioned. It was दबाया गया था, बहुत time तक उसको दबाया गया था. That is why people started exploding. And when Bindu Bhai was talking about Prime Minister, I am really doubtful. Should this the way the Prime Minister should have addressed the students? Like, what is gracefulness? He should have talked about the protest, what happened in the protest, how the students were beaten up, and he should have apologized. He should have taken accountability for what happened in the protest rather than talking about handloom, how we should protest. See, we should talk about our nation. We should display what is happening in our day. We should sort things out. But that doesn't mean we should hide the truth also. We should be able to address things properly. I would want our prime minister to be accountable. Okay, there has been some problem in the system, and I will go to the root and fix the problem. That was the answer we wanted to hear. That was the thing we wanted to hear. We did not want graceful explanations, or we did not want you to take Gen Zs into your court. No. We wanted our prime minister to tell us that yes, education is an issue in this nation, and we want it to be fixed equally as you people. So students' emotion should be considered. I'm not standing for any party. I'm a research scholar. We face a lot of issues in academics, but that is not solved till this year. It's been 12, 14 years. I don't understand why the problem is not being fixed. Jharkhand people are protesting.
So Drisha, do you have,
sorry.
That's great. Thank you for participating, and we'd love to hear your point of view. But do you have a specific question for any of the panelists?
Yeah, I would like to hear from all the the panel. What are the suggestions now we can put forward to solve the system? We know that the system has problems. Everybody knows it. So what is the
Alright.
suggestion?
Okay, anybody want to answer that? Bindu?
Sir, not particularly this part, but before this, the way Ms. Drisha, she was telling about something about a prime minister's apology in action or inaction. It's not just graceful talk. Before that, if we see that he posted a video in which he acknowledged the issues of the students and he promised that he'll take every action for it. It's just like, if you are having some kind of tainted glass wherein you are adamant that you want to see a certain person with that perspective only, nothing can be changed, right? And secondly, if we are talking so much about this and that, so let me tell you one thing. In this CJP protest, how come the criminals were present? The number of 2873, this is recorded there. These criminals were present. How did they come there? So is someone trying to crucify the chief of CJP for that? No. Similarly, there should be some grace in both the parties, in both the stakeholders, all the stakeholders basically. So Prime Minister did everything. Prime Minister promised, he connected with the students, he assured them that the due actions will be taken against the culprits. And then the law was also there, right? So whatever has to be done, whatever had to be done, he is already on the way. So we cannot say that he did nothing.
Okay, good. Thank you. So Kavita Bharadwaj is president of Indian Lawyers Association, Jodhpur. You have a question? Okay. All right. So we
Good afternoon, sir.
yeah, Kavita.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to know if anyone's views on how the question of contempt of court comes in here, because it was interesting to see how lawyers were arguing in the Supreme Court as well, considering the fact that the CJI's remarks actually had a role to play in the movement.
Okay. Anybody want to answer that? Anthony?
Yeah. See, in this particular manner, which what she talking about right now, इससे पहले कि मैं इस टॉपिक पे जाऊं, I really wanted to speak about the what advocate बिंदु said. देखिए, प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो है वो अपने आप में एक बहुत ही मोस्ट रेस्पेक्टेबल पोजीशन इन द कंट्री, और एक एक शब्द, चाहे वो सीजे साहब, हमारे सीजे साहब, आई एम सॉरी, मैं बहुत ओपनली बोलता हूँ, आई एम नॉट स्केयर्ड ऑफ एनीथिंग। सीजे साहब जो है हमारे, वो एक बहुत रिस्पेक्टेबल पोजीशन पे है, उनको भी हमेशा शब्दों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, व्हाट व्हाट he must speak, and even the prime minister, हम लोग, we are not against the prime minister, but prime minister को जो एडवाइस दे रहे हैं, मैंने भी उनकी काफी सारी वीडियो देखी है, रील देखी है, बट मुझे उनमें कहीं ऐसा नजर नहीं आया कि उनको कोई दुख महसूस हुआ है या कुछ कोई अपॉलॉजी उनको महसूस हुई है। क्योंकि देखो बिंदु, आप भी जानते हो बच्चे कि जब ये आंदोलन हुआ, आपने देखा है इसमें कि किस तरह महिलाओं के साथ, आप चलिए आपकी बात बड़ी करता हूँ बिंदु, आप कह रहे हैं कि उसमें इतने लोग क्रिमिनल थे। अरे यार, इतने लोग जब क्रिमिनल थे, जब वहां पे सैकड़ों की तादाद में पुलिस थी, आरएफ थे, आपने आज तक, जहां तक मेरी नॉलेज है, जो मैं देख रहा हूं, आज तक किसी भी क्रिमिनल की फोटोग्राफ नहीं दिखाई कि दिस क्रिमिनल इज अवेलेबल दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। ठीक है, और अगर वहां क्रिमिनल था और आपको मालूम है कि ये क्रिमिनल, तो वाइटिंग टू अरेस्ट देम, आपने उनको अरेस्ट क्यों नहीं करा उस समय? तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। देखिए बिंदु, इस पर हम डिटेल में बात
जानते हैं कि that person may be out on bail or something like that. So
तो वही मैं कह रहा हूँ,
ये तो हम दोनों जानते हैं।
यस है ना, ये सब पॉलिटिकल चीजें आप भी जानते हैं क्या है क्या नहीं है, और कौन ये स्टेज यूज कर रहा है, हाउ थिंग्स।
मेरा बस ये कहना है, जो मैं चाहूंगी इनसे, इस गवर्नमेंट से पहले हमारे जो भी प्रधानमंत्री थे, मनमोहन सिंह जी, तो मैं उस स्कूल ऑफ थॉट से आ रही हूँ जहां पे हमें सिखाया गया था कि आप बड़ों के रिस्पेक्ट करो, आपके जो देश चलाने वाले लोग हैं आप उनकी इज्जत करो। देयर शुड बी अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन गुड स्टूडेंट्स, गुड पीपल एंड द बैड वंस। सो हमें यही सिखाया था कि आपके जो देश के लोग हैं, जो आपके देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, राष्ट्रपति हैं, लोग हैं, आप उनकी इज्जत करें। मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कह रही हूँ, डिसेंट करिए, आपको बिल्कुल आप बोलिए, लेकिन रिस्पेक्टफुली बोलिए कि मुझे आपकी बात पसंद नहीं है। अब नाउ दिस इज नॉट द वे।
आई एग्री बिंदु, बट आप नहीं, लिसन, आई एग्री बिंदु, आई एग्री विद एवरी पॉइंट, बट ये एग्जांपल कौन पैदा कर रहा है? आप संसद को सुनिए, यू जस्ट लिसन द लोकसभा, किस तरह की गाली बकते हैं, किस तरह का व्यवहार वो वहां पे कर रहे हैं, व्हाट लेसन दे आर गोइंग टू गिव टू द पब्लिक। जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर को, है ना, जब उनके जो आईटी सेल के लोग हैं, महिलाओं के इतनी भद्दी भद्दी गालियां ऑनलाइन और आईटी, आई मीन जो सोशल मीडिया थ्रू है, तो व्हाट यू एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द पीपल? यस, आई एम टोटली डिसएग्री विद द पीपल जो 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 वहां पे सीजेपी में थे, प्राइम मिनिस्टर को खुला गाली दे रहे थे। यार ये हमारे यहाँ का कल्चर नहीं रहा है कभी भी, ठीक है? हम लोग बहुत
So
अच्छी
Anthony, you're getting the last 15 seconds. We're out of time, but you're getting the last 15 seconds. Bindu wants to become Prime Minister of India. What's your advice to her?
देखिए, आई विश दैट बिंदु शुड बी अ प्राइम मिनिस्टर, बट बिंदु से एक ही चीज बोलूंगा, बिंदु जब तुम प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनो ना, तो सबसे पहले आरक्षण खत्म करना यार, ठीक है? और दूसरा एजुकेशन को, लिसन लिसन, और सबसे ज्यादा एजुकेशन पे अपना बजट फाइनल करना। जितना अच्छे एजुकेटेड होंगे हिंदुस्तान उतना ही बढ़ेगा, ठीक है? और जब एजुकेटेड होंगे और ये क्या बोलते हैं, रिजर्वेशन खत्म होगा, तो करप्शन भी ऑटोमेटिकली खत्म हो जाएगा, नथिंग टू वरी।
And what about the 50% reservation quota for backward classes? What is she doing about that?
सर मैं, देखिए, कोटा, हमने कोटा बना के क्या करा है नवजीत सर? कोटा बना के हमने लोगों को गुलाम बना दिया। हमें अगर उसी लेवल पर उनको एजुकेशन दें और लोगों को compete करने का मौका दें, तो आई कैन अश्योर यू, जिनको हम रिजर्वेशन दे रहे हैं इनको रिजर्वेशन की जरूरत नहीं सर। ये compete करके इस देश के IAS IPS प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनेंगे।
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are just awesome. You gave me a great idea for our next panel one of these days. Our next week, our panel is that of the 100 freedom fighters that got us independence, 27 were lawyers. Gandhi, Nehru, Jinnah, whatever, if you're not going to count Jinnah, but whatever, Dr. Radhakrishnan. And we have a list of these 27, and we're going to publish the list of the top 100 freedom fighters. And then we're going to talk about these 27 that were lawyers. But after that,
30 सेकंड, 30
please.
सेकंड। आज मैं आपको बताऊं साहब, आपको याद होगा कि सीजीआई साहब ने बोला था कि जिस संसद में पहले वकीलों की भरमार होती थी, आज संसद में वकीलों की भरमार नहीं है। किसकी भरमार है ये आप लोग हम लोग सब जानते हैं। पहले कानून बनने में 20-20, 25-25 साल, 10-10 साल लगते थे। अब 10 सेकंड में कानून बनते हैं सर, 10 सेकंड में कानून बनते हैं, 10 सेकंड में प्रेसिडेंट साइन कर देता है और वो लॉ बन जाता है। तो दिस इज द सिस्टम ऑफ दिस कंट्री एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम।
So next month we'll do a webinar, Shanti, we'll invite 6, 7, 8, 9 lawyers, and all of them wanting to run and become Prime Minister of India, and we'll have a debate. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ribeiro, for your awesome service. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Bindu. Thank you, Dr. Chanda, for your wonderful service. So we're so proud of you, so thankful. Thank you so much for joining us.
थैंक यू, गॉड ब्लेस यू सर, एंड थैंक यू जूलियस साहब, आपका मैं बहुत बड़ा एडमायरर रहा हूँ। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर योर काइंडनेस एंड गॉड ब्लेस यू फॉर द लॉन्ग लाइफ सर। थैंक यू।
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so
I've
much.
already got long life. I'm already in very long life. I don't need any more.
नहीं सर, मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरी उम्र भी आपको लगे सर। यू आर द इंस्पिरेशन ऑफ दिस कंट्री सर, यू आर द इंस्पिरेशन ऑफ दिस कंट्री।